What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Tammy. This is TammyTalks. All right. Love and Marriage Detroit, Season 1, Episode 9. You got to come back to Detroit. Marcel wasn't even a big enough part of this episode for his name to be in the title, but whatever. If you guys are brand new to the channel, or a returning viewer that is not yet subscribed, I hope that this is the video that changes your mind. I'm almost at 15,000 subscribers, y'all. So I just need literally like a handful of y'all. Hit that subscribe button, support your girl, all right? Bump all that. Let's talk about the show. Picks up right where last week left off with Anthony and Brandon out on the beach while they're up at Traverse City. So Anthony is basically telling him, like, he's in his face, getting closer and closer, telling him, I don't have an issue with you. Yes, you do, Anthony. Yes, you do. Whether Anthony wants to be real about whatever this issue is that he has with Brandon, there is indeed an issue. Nobody can convince me otherwise. Anthony has a problem with Brandon, right? Whether Anthony realizes it or not, you have been coming at Brandon's top, my guy, coming for it. So Anthony then said that he's willing to move forward, but they got to be able to put all the pettiness aside. Anthony, it's you. It is you. I'm sorry. Everything that I don't understand. I truly don't understand. And I hate when people get in my comments saying, are we watching the same show? Ask yourself that. Because there is no way that anybody that is watching this show with both of their damn eyes and both of their ears can possibly think that Anthony and LaToya are not moving funny. You can't possibly think that. I'm sorry. Don't get in my comments asking if I'm watching the same show as you. Do not. I get so sick of people saying that when people don't agree with them. Ask yourself that. What episode did you watch last week? What episode did you watch the week before that made you think that Christina didn't have a right to check Toya's ass in the way that she did at her event for coming up to her about something that did not involve her whatsoever? So Anthony is keeping his drama going with Brandon constantly. Every episode, we see Anthony being shady or saying some shit about Brandon unnecessarily. He knows that Brandon is soft. He knows that Brandon is a beta male. He knows that Brandon is non-confrontational. He knows that Brandon is passive aggressive. Leave that weird ass man alone. He has enough problems going on with that bun on the top of his head. He does not need you to continue to do this. He just doesn't. He absolutely doesn't. So Brandon said that he'll think about it. Cool, think about it. Anthony said that he's not going to keep going back and forth. He just said that he'll think about it. Why are you still trying to carry this on? That's what I be talking about, y'all. That's what I be talking about. I hate somebody that feels that they have to get the last word in, but it makes them look stupid. Anthony looked completely and utterly stupid in this conversation. He did. So Brandon and Christina are getting dressed for dinner that night. And Christina said that she made a point to sit by LaToya on the boat to show her, I don't have a problem with you. We cool, sis. No issue with you whatsoever. But she still wants to have a conversation with LaToya so she can figure out, like, what happened that LaToya, like, kind of, has been coming for her head, blaming her for everything. Brandon feels that Anthony has a target on his back. And he wants to know if he feels weird for thinking that way. You don't. You don't. He's definitely gunning for you. And I think it comes down to the fact that Brandon and Christina are the couple of the show. And I think that Anthony wants it to be him and LaToya. So Christina said that Lyrique is, we bring up the whole Lyrique situation. Lyrique is Sean, okay? Christina said when she met him, he was Sean. He was her producer before she even moved to Detroit, so she knew him. He liked her. It changed things for them, changed things for their dynamic. She pulled back from that situation. Let the business relationship go. She met Brandon, what did they say, on Twitter or MySpace or something? I think it was Twitter. She met Brandon on Twitter, and that's when she moved to Detroit. So they're at dinner. Christina has what she calls a situation box. Girl, They play this game. So then the ladies go outside to talk around the fire. Christina asks if Latoya is like, have I done something to offend you? Because you are always making it out to be like I'm this terrible person. I'm always in the wrong. She just wants to know. Latoya clearly can't handle confrontation. So she kind of like, you can see Latoya visibly tense. And she's like, well, I just felt the way about, your situation with Kobe and you not being there for her as a big sister. That's not what happened, Dr. Latoya. That's not what happened. See, Latoya is here's the Latoya don't like Christina, right? For whatever reason. If she don't like her, cool. She's valid in not liking her. I think it really stems back to Christina acting a fool at that wine tasting, right? And instead of Latoya being an adult about it and telling her, you know what, I've been feeling a way about you since the way you and your husband handled yourselves, even though my husband started it at my wine tasting. That's really all you have to say. Latoya is being very passive aggressive about that. Then says that she thinks everyone needs to take accountability for their actions. I didn't see you call out Kobe for the yelling and screaming that she did. I don't ever see you call out your husband for the way that he talked to that woman, for the way he talks to all women. Where is your accountability, Latoya? Because you approached this woman at a prayer brunch talking about some stuff that don't involve you. So Latoya feels that Christina said, well, you know what, we're good. Whatever happens, happens. Christina wants to move forward. Latoya waits until she's in her confessional to say that she feels that they can move forward if Christina is truly who she is and, stands in herself. Girl, shut up. Shut up. Don't bring don't bring the show back. Dr. Latoya needs to really be behind the scenes because she's not built for reality TV. Some people are, some people are not. Dr. Latoya is not built for reality TV. Doesn't make her a bad person at all. I'm sure that is a lovely lady, but she is just not built for television, and that's it. Anthony meets up with Bravo at his spot. Now, this restaurant is not open. Okay, not at the moment. Bravo looks like he's getting set up, prepared for the day. Anthony comes in, man. I love seeing you in action working. I was with Bravo. Yeah, we just getting some things open for when we open later. So Bravo is telling Anthony that I know you got the men's movement coming up. I don't want to overstep, but my mentor I think would be great. He's from Detroit. Do you know Marcel Scott? Marcel gets there looking all thick in the ass. Here's the thing. I think as a person, Marcel is probably cool. He's just shitty as a husband. But whatever. So they're telling Marcel that he put Huntsville on the map with what he's doing. That ensemble cast did that. That ensemble cast. Marcel is not the star of that show. Marcel is not the star of that show. We know who the star of that show is, and it's not Mr. Marcel Scott. So apparently Marcel is looking to open a black location in Detroit. Cool. So Anthony is like, yeah, I want to make sure that, we prove to him why Detroit is worthy. He's from there. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Marcel starts talking about the statistics and how black men are, the victim of a lot of propaganda. And I agree with that. Black men, black women, yes, black men are a big victim of propaganda, right? Yes, we all can acknowledge that here in 2023. But I don't know what that has to do. Like, I get it. Marcel was saying how black men we're smart and we're businessmen and we're not violent and all that kind of stuff. Yes, understand that. But what does that have to do with the man's movement? What are y'all going to do with it? Because I can sit on here and preach about how black men are victimized and all this other stuff too, and they're villainized and so forth and etc. But if I'm not putting any action behind it and taking actionary steps to try to really change that narrative, it's just this. It's just lip service. You know what I mean? So for Marcel, I don't understand the point of the men's movement either. Okay? Just me. Brandon goes to his mother's house, came in rude AF. Very rude. She in there baking this man a cake, a cherry chip cake. He came in, sat down, and was like, "Where the fork at so we can eat the cake?" She was like, "You'll get to it. Happy birthday. Open your card." He reads the card. It ends with "Love you," like, typical birthday card would be from a parent. And he seems like taken aback. His mother was like, "You know that I love you." And he's like, "Yeah, I just don't hear you say it often." So his mom said that it didn't seem appropriate as he got older. She said it all the time when he was a kid, but as he got older, he just didn't. So because Brandon has been missing that lack of affection and that verbalization from his mother, he feels it has stalled him and caused like emotional trauma within him as an adult. He doesn't know how to communicate with his wife. I'm interested in how he communicates with his kids. So he wants his mom to go to therapy with him to work on their communication. His mom was like, I mean, I'll go. I don't want to be, make this a thing. Like, I have to go all the time. And then his mom said in the confessional, she's okay with the way things are. I'll say this. So my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was not very, very affectionate with us, right? Like going by my maternal grandmother's house was very different than going by my paternal grandmother's house. So we went by my dad's mom's house. You knew that when you walked in the house, you gave my grandma a hug, a kiss, every time we got off the telephone with her, it was "I love you." When we left her house, it was "I love you," a hug. But that was what it was like at my paternal grandmother's house. No question, no doubt that she loved us. Over my maternal grandmother's house, we didn't get the hugs and the kisses, but there was still no doubt in my mind that she loved me and that I loved her. So I think that for different people, it just affects different people differently. I didn't favor one grandmother over another. I never felt like my paternal grandmother loved me more than my maternal grandmother, but that's me. Some of my cousins feel a different way about it. My mom said growing up that my grandmother, she didn't hug them a lot. She didn't tell them she loved them. Never crossed my mom's mind that her mother didn't love her, but like that was just her experience, right? So my mom had it set in her mind that because she didn't get a ton of love, hugs and stuff like that, she loved on us hard. Like my mom does not play about us, right? Every time I go to my parents' house, I see my parents. I have dinner with my parents every Sunday. And then sometimes I drop in throughout the week because they live like 5 minutes away from me. Every single time I go into my mom's house, she gives me a hug. Every time I get off the phone with my mom, she tells me she loves me. So for some people, not getting that like verbal love, that physical affection makes them just be overly affectionate with their children in the case of my mom. But then in the case with like Brandon, it had an adverse effect on him. So, I mean, I feel bad for him because it wasn't my experience, right? I have friends now that are like, your mom gives the best hugs. I love going by your mom's house because your mom always is going to hug us. Like that's the adult that she grew up into. Whereas my dad, who still gives us hugs and stuff, he's in coming from my other grandmother who was very affectionate. He's not super, super affectionate like that with us either. But I don't think that my mom loves me more than my dad or anything like that. It's just a difference. So, but Brandon mama, okay. Cause she seemed kind of rude about it. There's a difference. She seemed a little rude about hers. So we get to the man's movement. Y'all, what was this? What was this? When I think of the movement, I think of like the Million Man March. Okay? I think of like the women's march. I think of stuff like that, but We got to start somewhere, right? So Latoya's nitpicking that things aren't in order. There's no tablecloth on the table. There's no signs there, whatever. Anthony said that's all coming. I said, all right. So Latoya said, I thought, what are you expecting? A couple hundred people? And he was like, who knows? We done changed the date several times and the time. You have changed the date and the time several times already. Maybe if you would have been focusing more on your man's movement and not so much trying to, steal this showcase from underneath Brandon, this shit would have been in order. This would have been in order. You spend so much time worrying about what brand, because let's be real, Anthony's been talking about this damn man's movement since the first episode. So you've spent so much time worrying about who your publicist is working with, worrying about what Christina and Kobe have going on together, worrying about what Brandon and his wife have going on together, crying about not being able to still be in Atlanta clearly years later, that you just didn't pay no attention to this damn man's movement. You too busy worrying about the Smiths. Are they the Smiths? Brandon and Christina? You too busy worrying about the Smiths and where you feel that they're falling short in life at. Meanwhile, your event has been falling apart because you can't decide and get together a definite day and time. No wonder nobody showed up. What? Several times? The audacity. So, Kobe and Russell shows up. Brandon shows up by himself. Their daughter, Britton, got hurt, so Christina wasn't able to come. I don't know why they would even ask about Christina. Kobe, why are you there? Lakita, why are you there? Dr. Latoya, why are you there? Man's movement. Hell, Tisha went there. Tisha didn't make the flight up. So nobody's there, right? So Marceau comes in and he's looking around and they're like, maybe it's because of the rain that no one's here. So Anthony is like, man, I don't want to embarrass myself. I want to really show Marceau what Detroit has to offer. Nigga, he's from there. He just told you he's from Pontiac. Which I'm assuming is probably like, I don't want to say a suburb, but it's probably like just a more specified place inside of Detroit. Maybe like a neighborhood or something, neighborhood region, whatever. He's from there. He's from there. It's not a secret that Marceau and Maurice are from Detroit. It's not a secret. I think Destiny's from Detroit too. So I don't like, okay, Anthony. Okay. So they have it's storming, they hear thunder, but after the rain, the thunder subsides a little bit, we do see some men start to come in. About 20 men come, right? Brandon says about 24. They come in, they do all these little bitty speeches, like everybody standing, they're not sitting down, there's no programs, whatever. So Anthony reads the proclamation about what the man's movement is for, financial literacy and communication and politics and all this other stuff that he said that it is for, right? Within this day. So, like, is the man's movement something that they're going to be doing constantly? Is the man's movement just for that day? Like, I had the same questions and concerns that Brandon did. I know what's on the paper, but okay, sure. So he then has the oldest man in the room and the youngest man in the room. They go and they pull apart a chain and they're breaking the chains. And I said, so then they go outside to walk because the rain is subside. It's people texting. It's people walking on their phone. Anthony is talking about Brandon, we were all here together. You weren't here that day, but we were saying if we all put in $1,000, we could buy that building. To do what with, though? What are y'all going to buy it and do? And what are you going to do with it? Is that something that y'all were just saying? Look, y'all, there's a building for sale for $15,000. Let's get 15 of us to buy it. To do what with? That's the thing. I can go point to a lot of shit outside right now and say, you know what? If I get two or three of my friends, we all put up, a G $1,500, we could buy that right there too. But what are we going to do with it? Because there's more than just buying something. There's the maintenance costs. There's the cost to run it. You have I'm telling y'all, Anthony just be talking, y'all, and y'all be eating it up. I don't understand. So they get after they walk around the block. After they walk around the block, they get back to the building, and Brandon said he's confused on what the movement is. Kobe, who been waiting to get back at Brandon, is like, well, we read the proclamation. It was on the paper. I understand what it's for. Kobe, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because you didn't explain it. You just said that what y'all heard was understood. What is the man's movement? Is it something we're going to do today? Is it something we're going to do twice a month? Is it something we're going to do monthly? What is the man's movement? Because if this was the man's movement, y'all coming together and saying that men need to learn how to be men and lead their households and learn about this and learn about that and be more assertive and all this other kind of stuff, that's not a movement. Y'all had a speech. Is it a conference? Is it a state of mind? I'm with Brandon. What is this man's movement? It doesn't make sense. And it might make sense in Anthony's head, but he's not articulating or explaining it well. So then Dr. Latoya is like, well, I'm proud of you. Anthony says in his confessional, some people just need to mature. Yeah, you. I don't understand what it is either, but hey. Brandon said he had a speech ready for hundreds of kids. What were you going to give a speech about? Star Factory? Anthony said ain't no stars came Anthony said ain't no stars came out of Star Factory, but whatever. So then the final scene is Brandon's mom comes over to their condo for therapy. So Brandon said that he does not doubt his mom's love, but it's never verbalized. So his mom said that when he was younger, she would ask him questions, she would try to talk to him, and he would put his thumb in his mouth and turn over and ignore her. So he was a kid. And I'm thinking, thumb in his mouth. There are some kids that suck their thumb well till they are, 6, 7, or 8, whatever the case. It's not okay. That's why your kids need braces. You're causing, buck teeth and all that other type of stuff. But he was clearly a child. So his mother said she didn't know how to pull things out of him, so she just left him alone. Which would explain why Christina said that Brandon's mother never corrected him or corrected his communication. So Brandon was like, I was a kid. I don't know why I shut my mom out. I feel bad about that. But as a child, you don't just let your kid, you don't stop trying to communicate with your child, basically. You know what I mean? I just feel like, I'm using myself as an example again. Of course, everybody goes through periods where you don't want to talk to your parents as a preteen, a teenager, whatever. But my mom has never just been like, fuck it, I'm not going to talk to you for the rest of the month. You know what I mean? So, Brandon at one point earlier said when he was at his mom's house that it was hard living in the hood with a white mother. She said, yeah, it was hard being a white woman in the hood too. I said, well, okay. So his mom then said that she now does want to have conversations with him sometimes. And I was the therapist sometimes. Sometimes. So Brandon took that as she could take or leave having conversations with him. It's not a big deal to her. And I think in this situation, Brandon's going to have to give his mom some time. She's not going to flip the switch and be the type of mother that you want right away because now you want to do something about it. It's something that's clearly bothered Brandon for some time, but for him to switch up now, and now he wants to fix it, and now, like, it's gonna take time. That is an old lady. You know what I'm saying? It's in, like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That lady, we see in the preview for next week, she says that there are some people that talk to their parents every day. That ain't gonna happen. I talk to my mom every single day. I talk to my dad probably every other day, every 2 days. But then my brother, who lives in Nashville, talks to my parents like once a week. So I think that's just the relationship and proximity you have with your. I don't know. I don't know, but I, Brandon mama don't want to talk to him. She's fine with the way the relationship is, and that's because it's comfortable for her. And I think she just does not want to have uncomfortable conversations. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.